excuse and pardon the hypeness. It's happened. It finally happened. It's occurred. A lot of planning, a lot of random stuff. I'm not the best planner. Shouts out to Eric Boss. I don't even know if he's the best planner. No, I'm gonna give you props. No, I'm gonna give you props. I'm gonna give you props, man. You made a whole itinerary, dog. Like that's the way to go, for real. So we just warming everything up. We getting the link. I'm gonna shoot the link out to y'all. Excuse and pardon the. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get the link out to everybody. We about to get social with it. I need everybody to get social with that link. Yeah. Coded language when I'm with the squad. Dangerous when there's a pin involved. Who told you could bring friends along? You need to go home and get a job. I treat my life like I'm cleaning J's. Back and forth and keep the circle small. Back and forth and keep the circle small. All right, here we go. We about to get into music, culture, craftsmanship, maybe a little bit of sneaker talk. I know one person in the room is a sneakerhead. Now, we might talk about some slides. You know what I mean? Oh, yo, you kind of low key are. I mean, I wouldn't call you a sneakerhead, but you be having the most cozy ass shoes in the world, like. You texting it? I mean, just let me know how you sending it. Yeah, send that joint in the group, Shazat. Yeah. All right, word. Welcome. I'm so excited. I don't even know where to begin. How about this? My name is the Bull Bay. I'm really, really happy to be here. You are tuned into right now the Parlor. This is so special though. Because it's not like your normal inside of the Tiny Room for Elephants art space, which shouts out the Tiny Room for Elephants, of course. But right now we are in New Orleans, Louisiana. I can't even explain how this happened. I keep like checking in with everybody like, how did this happen? Like, where did this go? Like, how did we put all these things together? But a lot of collaborative thought, efforts, and just ambition. And we are out here. And this is an incredible town, an incredible region, an incredible landscape. It is hot as shit right now. Like, I mean, you just gotta put that out there. No disrespect. It's June. Yeah, don't let the lawn. It's AC in here. You know what I mean? Like, but every person that walks in, they got that face like they need water, and I'm like, yo, you want a glass of water? Like, yeah, absolutely. Everybody's face got like, oh, I just came in from like the sweltering heat. In any case, you know what it is on the Parlor. We talk music, craftsmanship, culture, all these different things. By all means, follow us on IG. It is called Live from the Parlor on IG. That's the handle. Follow me on IG, the Bull Bay, of course. I'm here with you. I'm going to be here the entire time, the duration. We got a jam-packed show. Normally, I feel like it's like a spotlight person and then a producer or a DJ or something like that. We got a little bit more than that, and the fam and the gang is here too. I'd be remiss if I didn't get everybody on camera at some point, just to kind of like, rehash. What? You don't want to get on camera? All right. What? I'm just saying. To figure it all out. But let's just get right into the first guest. This is a honest and genuine friend of mine. I've been able to like say that genuinely and stand in that. The guy works hard. Like I'm not sure if I know anyone that works as hard as he does, right? I don't want to disrespect or anything like that. I can't even go through the long list of things that he's done. Album that he just released is called Road to a Rolex. He had an incredible album that my personal favorite called The Beautiful. I think that came out maybe like 2 years ago or something like that. We're going to dig deep into all of that stuff. And he's a sneakerhead. I need y'all at home and even in this room to show some love for my homie Alfred Banks. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. It's happening. It's really, really happening. And before we really get into it, I got the link right now, so I'm gonna text you this.
For sure.
And we're gonna like make sure everybody is tuning into this conversation.
Social media.
I feel like you and I have had brief conversations. I don't know if we really gotten like deep into inspirations, processes, creativity. All these different things.
No, we have not.
Word.
Very excited about it. Actually.
I will say this though, man. Like you are artist from New Orleans, right?
Indeed, born and raised.
And the generic New Orleans visuals never really popped into my. I never really like connected it to you. Like, could you walk me through how New Orleans makes who you are, and also just like the musical landscape of New Orleans?
Well, for me, New Orleans, everything that I won't say everything, but what people think of when they think of New Orleans, like with like Hot Boys and like No Limit, that's the
or
stuff.
Even Master P,
and things, those things. That's what I'm not, and what I'm blessed to. I understand the impact that they've had on New Orleans.
Yeah.
But I had enough knowledge to know that didn't really fit with what I was interested in, even as a kid. But what I do know about New Orleans is we kind of, created like jazz music, which is like very like, important for like a lot of different, just important. A little bit, not too crazy, but it's like very important. So it gives me a level of pride everywhere I go, man. I'm very proud to be from New Orleans. Like, some of the greatest musicians of all time have come from out of the city. And so when I go places and I tell people I'm from the city, I won't say I have a chip on my shoulder, but I have something to prove.
Absolutely.
Because people have, people have an expectation. But the city of New Orleans, we do have I won't say an affliction. We have an infinity for like street stuff. I can curse.
Yeah, by all means. Fuck. Just to get that out the way.
All right, cool. So we have like an affinity for street shit.
Yeah.
We like stuff that's a little bit more urban. Throw a pistol in there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
this doesn't like the space doesn't really strike me as a really dressed up kind of a space,
not
right?
At all.
Let your hair down, open up your collar.
For sure. It's
so
very, very cool.
It's not really like super eclectic and creative, but not really dressed up or anything like that.
No, not at all. So like that's kind of where my career took a turn, because I realized that I would probably not be one of the most popular guys here in the city, so I had to move not move out, but like I had to move around and tour, because again, New Orleans has an affinity for like gangster shit, like street shit, like real. I would hate to say urban because that sounds so corny, but like real, just street shit. So I don't make street shit.
Gotcha.
I'm not even the street guy. I grew up, next to the St. Thomas projects, next to Magnolia and things like that. But like, my mom raised me to be more accepting of other cultures and things like that. So, and that reflects in my music. And some of the music tastes to my favorite rappers aren't really street guys. So long story short, New Orleans is kind of that nature, but we're also very down to earth. We're very do it DIY, because a lot of labels weren't coming to New Orleans in the 90s and in the 80s especially, even maybe in the early 2000s. Like we had to create our own industry, period.
Seems to be always, with No Limit. And,
of course. Like Cash Money, all these different things. And that's just the South in general, man. Like the Southern artists and Southern like conglomerates, we had to like make it happen. Yeah. We had to legit make it happen.
And we were talking about it earlier, like the eyes and ears of the world are coming.
Oh, for sure,
New Orleans,
for sure.
Like with bounce music, which has been something that's been around since the 80s, maybe even 70s.
For sure.
But now people are definitely kind of like dipping their toes into it.
Of course.
Using it in different capacities and really thrusting it into the mainstream. So what other music or sounds or like little earworms kind of exist here in the city, outside of just bounce, outside of just jazz, because I've always noticed the twang as well. Like, you know, the
Oh yeah, you hear me?
yeah. I don't even know what that is exactly. You know what I mean?
That's saying hello. How are you?
Got you. Got you. And you know, because I feel like there's certain parallels between our stories, or at least our relationships with our cities. Because for me,
sure.
a long time, if you're a rapper from Philly, you have a beard. You have you wear fitted hats, like all these things. And I'm working on my beard. Don't get me wrong.
No
Like,
doubt,
you know what I
no
mean?
doubt.
Like, it's gonna come in one day. But
One
I've
day,
I've
one
always
day.
kind of like, I've had a chip on my shoulder, or at least like, I don't want to say chip in a bad way, but I really want to show diversity
Of course.
in the space that I live in, because I'm from the hood too, but like, and I grew up in the craziest part of Southwest Philly, but I wasn't into any of that stuff. I represented very much it was small, but very much a group of kids that like anime and comics
For
and,
sure, for
and, you know,
sure.
alternative stuff. And you know, those choices of freedoms and choices of like artistry kind of deserves platform as well.
Of course, man.
so-
Every region kind of has like, you know, the stereotypical what people think
Yeah.
of that area. Like, you know, the West Coast, you think of Dickies, Chuck Taylors, maybe like your plats, or what they call them down here, like your cornrows, like the joints.
Got you.
You know, and you know whatever. And then I know at the East, you think like a New York jacket, fitted, New York fitted. With the big facial hair. Yo, God, yo, what's up, King? You hurt and shit like that. You know, and a pair of Timberlands and the subsequent pistol somewhere on you. In the South, you know what I'm saying? We chill. We're quiet. You know, I think we're very temperamental. I think we have very bad tempers down here. That's why we're so damn cool.
Is it the heat?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's probably the heat, especially in the summer, man. Like the murder rate goes way up in the summertime. But we're just real cool. We're hard working, man. We're not gonna bother nobody. We're gonna kind of just find our own like little spot in the room and just chill. You got some knuckleheads, but that's why I love being from the city, man. So when I like go to places like Philly or the Northeast or like even the West Coast, and everything's so fast and everyone's so like really aggressive, it takes me a bit to adjust. Because down here we just cool. We speak to everybody. Like if I see your grandma walking down the street, I'm gonna help across the street type vibe. If I don't even know you, but we can close quarters, I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna, what was your name type vibe, whatever. So that's just who we are down here, you know what I'm saying? So, but not every region has their own like stereotypes.
Yeah. And I just feel like, every region should have its own spectrum. Like, it doesn't need to be one box that everybody checks. By all means, like, be diverse and jump into these different options and colors and things like that. But let's jump into you real quick. Where does your musical journey start in terms of, because if you didn't know, Crazy MC, Bars for Real.
Y'all can really rhyme.
Yeah, Dumb Rider, for real.
We rapping.
And you got the project out, Road to a Rolex.
Indeed.
So that's now. Where did it start? Way back when? How did we get to now?
Well, I'll say where my career started. So June 6, 2009 is where it started for me.
The actual date, which you said is going to be a 10-year mark this coming Friday.
Yeah, no doubt.
If you are in New Orleans,
very excited about that, man.
Do not miss this man's show.
But June 6 is where it started. There was a guy by the name of Truth Universal. He threw a grassroots showcase here. It was called Grassroots, a hip hop showcase.
Oh, nice.
And it was the longest running joint. I think it was for 2001 to like 2014. So it ran for a really long time. And a lot of guys who were names out of the city got their start, or at least graced those stages, like D3D Not Tees, D1, Nesby, Spitter even did it one time. And so June 6th, I had just graduated high school. I graduated 2009. From Helen Cox High School, and I had just graduated, and I had a school teacher. We all had that one teacher in high school that was like, "Yeah, brother, 'cause the black man," and and he was that guy, and he was like, "Yo, man, you and your man, well, my producer Caesar, who went by another name at the time, he was like, yo, y'all rap." So I know this guy named Truth Universal. He throws a showcase. Y'all should go. He put us in touch and put us on stage, man, and that was the night I hit the stage for the first time, and I was addicted to it from that point.
Did you rap before that point? Was writing a part of it?
I mean, yeah, I was rhyming like in high school. I would like rap at ciphers and stuff like that in the lunchroom. We had like battles. I think everybody had battles on the lunch.
I think so. Yeah.
I think we all had battles. I used to battle rap for a while. So we had the ciphers and stuff, but the actual like rhyming started when I hit the stage. That's what I consider it. So yeah, man, 2009 is when we kicked off, and years and years and years of just touring and meeting beautiful people who've helped me along the way, and helped me cover a lot of ground and putting out music and things like that. There's so many different moments. Like my man A. Levy. He runs a studio down here called the Hut Studios.
Gotcha.
And you know, back in 2010, I was homeless. I was in college, but I was homeless. And
if you in college, you homeless. Like, let's just
for sure. It's just what happened. So I dropped out. But you know, I wanted to put out this project, but I had no bread. So he like recorded my whole project for free. So that was like, that's my bro forever for that. You know what I'm saying? Or like my man Marcel P. Black. I remember we did a show in 2013. We was in Denver, Colorado. And I guess he probably won't be mad now because he ain't on it no more. But he was on food stamps at the time. And he ain't had no bread. And I had like $100. So we had got the hotel. We stayed. We was in the roughest part of Denver, man. Like right outside was the Vatos. In all red.
Gotcha.
And luckily Marcel has history in that world. I won't go into too many details, but he started talking that language and got us out of that. And we was like living off of pizza for like a week. You know what I'm saying? And you know, so we went through the struggle, man, and now we're doing some really cool things. So that's kind of where it started for me though, man. 2009 is when we kicked it off.
Got you. And you really do work hard, man, from touring to,
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Placements here and there on Volkswagen, Netflix,
Volkswagen,
all these different things. And so it's led up till now. Can you tell me about the album?
Yeah, man. So well, first I'll talk about The Beautiful.
All right, word.
Because The Beautiful changed my life. Because for me, you know, I worked so hard doing all these shows. It was like people just kind of knew me as the dude that be on stage all the time, right? So like people didn't really know like my music like
Which
that.
is a funny reputation to.
It's weird because you know, I don't know, man. If you're not really popular, people they're not really trying to find out about you. You have to make them find out about you, you know. So like, if I know you in this vein, I'm not gonna ever find you in any other vein except that. It's weird. The mind is a crazy thing. But I was the on stage dude, and my brother passed away in 2014. He had schizophrenia and he committed suicide.
Sorry to hear
and
that,
you know that crushed me, as you would imagine. So I took about a year and a half. I wrote an album, and the day of his funeral, I had to leave in the middle of the service because I had a show that night.
Damn.
And so that car ride was like super emotional for me. So I wrote an album about the car ride from the funeral to the show. And that's what The Beautiful is. It's a concept record. And in the album, I developed schizophrenia as well. So I like kind of battled it throughout the project. And so that album changed my life because we charted on Billboard. We charted on iTunes.
Damn.
I sold a bunch of records. And a lot of people, man, to this day, some of the stories I've gotten from people that have dealt
as a
with,
response to
of course, because because when my brother, I'm black, I'm from a black family. We don't have mental health issues. We pray it away. Boom. If you got issues, you pray, and if it don't go away, you pray again, and if you don't, you go
Which
drink.
we know,
you know
like,
what I mean?
it just
doesn't work.
It doesn't work like that.
You have to go get therapy
You're
and things like that. You know what I mean? So when I found out my brother had what he had, he was like the strongest example of a man that I had in my life.
Older brother, right?
Yeah, my oldest brother,
Gotcha.
Alandis Banks, RP, but. So he was the example of a man to me, you know? And so for him to be so big and so, like, strong, but then he was taken out from this disease, it was wow. So I did research, and I was like, yo, like, what is mental health? What is going on? I found out about schizophrenia. I legit found out at, like, 22 years old what mental health was, mental health disorders and things like that. Long story short, I did the research, and I wrote the album, man, and it was therapeutic, and I didn't know so many people could relate. And man, some of the stories, man, that I've gotten, I had a young lady, I won't say her name, but I had a young lady, she drove from Chicago, Illinois to New Orleans to see me rap.
Word.
That's a 14-and-a-half-hour drive.
That's a long-ass drive,
And when she got here, she gave me a letter that her oldest son is in a mental institution. And because of his issues, and his younger brother was sad that his brother had to go because of his issues, so he wrote a letter to his brother. She gave me a copy of that letter.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And she gave.
Yo, how eerie is that? Could you talk about two brothers in the exact same story?
I was like, damn, man, and I didn't know that, like, that type. And I did Voodoo Fest. I got to open for Kendrick Lamar at Voodoo Fest. That was crazy. And I had a young lady. I remember she came to the concert, and she told me The Beautiful, the intro track is called The Funeral of Alandis Banks, because I recreated his funeral on record.
Got you.
And she said that song saved her life because her husband had just passed away from brain cancer, and she was gonna, you know, and she said she heard a friend told her to listen to the record, and she heard it, and it inspired her to keep going. So when she came to the concert, I remember she had a T-shirt with my face on it. She had my birth year on the back, like a jersey. She was just like, I love you and I love your music, and I was like, yo, that. So like when
how do you even like? Yeah, I'm sorry, I was gonna say, how do you even like move on from a project like that? Like that seems like
It took me about 2 years to do it. I put out singles, but like I've been so when I do shows, man, I have a jump drive with all my music on it, but I have one CD, and that's the Beautiful. Because some people, when they hear you live, they go, "You're dope," but I don't want to jump into your whole catalog.
Yeah.
I just want to take a chance.
Gotcha.
And so I have the Beautiful as that chance. So when they jump into that, they go, "Oh, this dude could really." Oh snap! And then they want it, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's my baby, that's my joint. And anybody who knows my catalog, that's the record they know me. So but it that's my baby forever. I'll always do music from that project, no matter how big I get in my career. But the Beautiful really changed my life. It gave me some reputable things outside of just performance things. Like I could chart, I could sell records, I could like even in today's age, I could still sell a couple joints. So it was beautiful, man. And then we fast forward to the road to a Rolex. So I didn't want to just keep making like sad music. I want everyone to know that I could kind of do everything. You know what I mean? It's
difficult, man.
It is, especially to come from something so deep, because I kind of set a standard now. So people kind of think that when they listen to my music, they're gonna get like a TED talk in a sense, and that's not really the case. Like I'm a lyricist at the end of the day. I know how to put these bars together. And so for Road to, I put out a project called Mere Exposure Effect with a guy by the name of Malik 95. He just signed to Jet Life, which is really cool.
That's what's up.
My man Pell got a new album coming out. Malik got a couple records on that joint. He's also a dope rapper in his own right.
Oh, Pell, isn't he from New Orleans?
Born and raised here. No
Got
doubt.
you.
So long story short, I did a project with him where I was writing more radio records. I wanted people to know that if I was ever given a chance to put some shit out on a radio platform, that I could compete. So I got the melodic hooks with the easier bars to kind of digest. And that record did really well as well. And now we just put out Road to a Rolex. And I was saying to myself, like, man, being an independent artist, when you're not big, people kind of feel weird when you say you try and get this money. People feel like, oh, you just want to do it for the money. It's like, no, I mean, but no. Like, you know what I mean? This is my art. This is what I love. But, handshakes don't pay the rent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I got to get this bread.
Absolutely.
And so Road to a Rolex is the idea that one of my goals in life is to get a Rolex. And it's that, but it's a metaphor. It's like I want to get to a place in my life where I'm comfortable enough to drop 20 bands on a watch and be fine. It's just the grind to get to that point. You know
and we talked about goal setting earlier when we were a little bit off camera, just about like, I guess we were talking about financial goal settings, like, in terms of like just setting the bar in a realistic place and then moving from there.
Got to, man, because everybody can't make $1 billion. Like you got to be realistic, especially in the music industry. The shit's so up and down. But I want to get to this bread, and I'm not about to save up $20,000 for a watch. That's stupid. So I want to get to a place where we just got the bread, and I don't think there's anyone on the planet that don't want to get this money. Like that's a very relatable topic. So the whole project is kind of like talking about that in whatever bypass way it is, but I'm real braggadocious on the record. I'm giving you bars, I'm giving you a little bit of substance, a little bit of something, and just letting you know, especially in the past 3 years, man, because I've touched a little bit of bread, and I've been able to do some bigger things, and I'm seeing these checks coming in now and all this, and it's just like, man, how am I gonna process this? How am I gonna handle it?
What's your connection to lyricism, right? Because when people think of New Orleans, I feel like people are, I don't know what they think.
But I don't think lyricist is the first thing they think.
But I would assume, right, that's not.
We got people like 3D Not T who will rap your head off. Bars, nigga, like arguably the best rapper to come out of New Orleans. Like she is nuts.
Talk about that, like your connection, and also the other lyricists here, because I'm sure there's an entire community of people that care about wordplay. Like,
for me, man, like when I was coming up, especially like 06, 07, there was this new guy on the scene called Lupe Fiasco. Who was very similar to what I was doing, just because I was into skating and I was into the Japanese t-shirts and all these things. But all I rapped about was just how good I was. I didn't rap about necessarily how many pistols I had. So people just put me in that box. So I went to explore that box, and realized there's so many different possibilities in that box. And being a lyricist for me is important, man. Like I'm not necessarily I go hard like I'm so dope I don't do that. But like for me is literally how you put your words together, your alliteration, like, you know what I'm saying? Like how witty can you be? How funny can you be? Like, can you be introspective while also keeping someone's attention because you're fun? All these different things. And for me, the reaction of the person. Like, I got acapellas I do, and I have certain lines. I'm like, I know I'm going to get them with this. And then I study the crowd when I hit that line, and some people may not react to it well. Some people do. All those different things is what goes into being a lyricist. And also making, like, easier records that people can sing along to. That you need lyricism to do that. Because you need to know when to dumb your shit down. Like,
Yeah,
you know
and for me, I've been so inundated with it from being from Philadelphia. Like everybody is like bar, 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 bar. Like it's really in some cases like.
You know the funny part, not to cut you off.
Yeah.
Most people that say you need to, as an independent artist, you need to have bars. They don't even listen to that shit.
Oh, I mean, in terms of like songwriting is a funny science. You know what I mean? Because I do like certain songs that are just jam packed with words.
Yeah, like Lupe's Mural, great example.
Absolutely,
right?
8 minutes of
like
just
8.5 is just shit.
Crazy.
It's going at you. It's crazy.
But I do understand, like, you know, you can't slap somebody over the head with that, like the average consumer or something like that, right? So you need something, especially certain things fit in certain spaces better than others. And I always look at music like it's the universe, right? It's big, wide open, and expanding. There's no boundaries. There's no rules. You can do whatever you want. But I always look at songs and songwritings as like specific rooms. And if you step into a room and someone's doing open heart surgery, that may not be the room for you to like kick shit over and jump off the wall and kick and yell and scream. But if you step into a room and it's nothing but like, and it's covered in trampolines and ropes and all kinds, that might be the room for you to like show off your shit and go crazy and go wild. And like, so for me, that's kind of like been my study of like songwriting
really
and just
dope,
being
man.
really
and in
careful.
New Orleans, man, we got lyricists for days. We got myself as my man K the Beast. He's an artist that I've been rocking with for a minute. Homie is really dope. My girl Sleazy Easy, she's like one of my favorite rappers from because she can sing, she can rhyme, she could do like the and I go by the but then she can give you bars. Like, she's so multifaceted, it's incredible. You got my man True Universe, who gives you that like OG feel, that real like classic boom bap hip hop conscious. He's like if Dead Prayers was from New Orleans, you know what I'm saying? So that vibe, he give you some stand up and let's fight the system type shit.
I always feel like Southern rappers always kind of have like a secret weapon because they could just talk. And you know what I mean? And the way they bend words is already rhythmic. And
man.
I'm like,
just the way we talk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you actually talk to somebody from New Orleans, like, you're 9 times out of 10 I know what they're talking about. Like, for example, what's the word? Was it with the yeah? So like for us, the word yeah means like everything. So it'd be like, I'm about to go with the
Okay.
That mean like I'm about to go to the store. You want something? Or that would mean like,
funny
oh yeah. That mean like, oh, what that happened? Oh yeah. That mean like, boy, you better get I'm about to put. And it's just so many, and we're all nuanced down here. Yeah. Like, if someone says, yo, I feel played, leave the room.
Word.
Because that whole room about to get shot up. You never want a New Orleans nigga to feel played. Like, if he start like, I feel played, you need to dip. That's the universal sign. Well, it's about time to wrap this up.
Right, word.
You know what I'm saying? So we're all nuanced here.
Word.
And so that just bleeds into the music, man. Just
So does the process of recording like album to album, like the process of The Beautiful, look the same as the actual recording process?
Nah. See, the production, the Beautiful was it took a while just because like I wanted to get everything. Quick story, I don't want forever, but quick story. My man Mickey Fax, he knows Charles Hamilton's my favorite rapper. Yeah. And he put out a project called Mickey Mouse, which I consider one of the best like concept records of all time.
Was that when he was an artist?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That shit is wild good. That shit's crazy.
Yo.
So his beats goes, that shit was nuts. But long story
short,
I'm
better than you. But
that shit's crazy. Oh man, right? My man Mick got bars. But long story short, I had the project and I was like, yo, I want to put this out. He was like, it's not ready yet.
Gotcha.
And I was like, nah, it is. He was like, nah. And he put me on the phone with Charles, and Charles told me it's not ready. I was like, all right, well, it's not ready yet.
Right.
And so I went back. I was real meticulous. Yeah, right. I'm convinced now. But it was just, I got real intricate with that record. A project like Road to a Rolex, it was easier for me to write. One, because I'm pulling from something I feel like everyone can relate to, which is trying to get this bread, trying to be successful, and trying to like rise up the ranks. And I'm just putting bars together like crazy. So like for me, it was just real easy to do. And then all the beats, my man Caesar.
I was gonna ask about the production and like even the sonics and how does it feel?
Oh man, because my man Caesar does about 93% of everything I do.
Okay.
So Beautiful is all produced by Caesar.
Got you.
Road to a Rolex, all produced by Caesar.
Yeah.
And the majority, the song that's in the Volkswagen commercial, Homecoming, that's him. So he does, in K the Bees, he did the Underdog Central joint that's in the Netflix joint, but Caesar does everything.
Gotcha.
So we just got a sync now. Like, he doesn't email me any beats anymore, which is whack. So I got to pull up to his crib, and he's got about like 2,000-3,000 joints. So I'll just like, we'll just play like maybe 60, 70 of them. I'll pick like 20 of them that I'm feeling, and then I'll just knock them all out.
Yeah.
I don't write all the time. Like there's like maybe a 3-month span in a year where I get all my writing done.
Gotcha.
And then the rest of the year is touring.
So you have a system.
Yeah, for sure. Now, granted, features and stuff like that, those are the outside the norm. But if I do a year with no features and I'm just putting out music, I only write because like I don't like recording. It's like my least favorite part of the process.
So in terms of being creative and being on stage, recording, writing, you don't like recording?
Nah, hell no. It's like my least favorite.
Why?
It's so tedious. I love when it's finished, but I hate the process.
The process of it?
It's boring to me.
Gotcha.
Super boring. And then like you do the verse. Let me hear it back. I'm gonna do these dubs. Let me hear it back. I'm gonna do these ad libs.
Which one would you prefer? Obviously not the recording part. Would you writing or performing?
Oh, performing for sure. See me like when I write, like I'm big on energy. So like the other day I was on a plane and headed to Quebec City, and my man EF Cutting sent me a folder of beats, and so I found one I was feeling. I was like, yo, this beat is nuts. So it just hit me, and I wrote it. Boom. That was the first thing I wrote since like February. Like I just don't write like all the time. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot out of me. But when I'm in the zone, I did the Mirror Exposure Effect. That's a 5-song project. I did that shit in like 12 hours. I just wrote all 5 songs in a second because I just caught a wave. Like I heard the beats. I was like, yo, these shits is lit. I'm gonna just write it. Boom, boom, boom. Obviously, The Beautiful took way longer than that. Road to a Rolex, I wrote that shit in like a week. It's just like I get the beat, I sit with it. I'm like, all right, we're gonna talk about this. Boom, get it all done. Boom, next. See, for me, writing is like it's the job. That's the job part of music.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I gotta write now. You know what I mean? Like it's not that it's boring to me. It's just like I gotta do it because so I'm gonna make it.
I enjoy the recording process because I get to kind of like fuck around. You know what I mean? The writing part can be a little bit difficult, but it depends on like what the framework is. You know, shouts out to Dane with Tiny Room for Elephants. You know, when we worked on Gorgeous, oddly enough, there's a song called Gorgeous that is not done or anything like that, but roughly
put it out.
Well, it's a long story behind it, but it's inspired by New Orleans.
Oh, what?
And the whole hook goes like, I wake up in the morning, shouts out to New Orleans, a bunch of other stuff. In any case, I wrote a verse for it, and I was like, I'm going to bar it up. I'm a biggity bars.
Hibbity hoppity bar.
Yo, and then Dane was like, yo, rewrite this. I was like, what you mean rewrite this? I just gave you all these lyrics and blah, blah, blah. So in any case, it was, it wasn't like a job or anything like that, but I discovered something enjoyable about the rewriting process. Yeah. And that's not something I had normally done up until that point. I would normally just write my verse, and I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, so Fax made me do that. I had a song on The Beautiful called "Bury Me Beautifully," featuring Mickey Fax, and the first version of that song was, I guess I didn't go hard, and he literally sat me. That shit, it broke my heart too. He sat me. I just knew that shit was hot.
He was like coaching.
So what happened was, I think this was after the tour was over. So we come back home. He's chilling in New Orleans, and long story short, I play him the beat, and I was nervous. I was like, "Yo, you like this beat?" He was like, "Yo, this shit is crazy." He's like, "Yo, you don't even need words. This shit is nuts." Yeah. And he was like, "Let me hear what you got," and I rapped it, and he was like,
"Oh man,
that's what you got." And I was like, "What you mean?" And I was like, "Oh man." He's like, "Yo, that shit is not hot, B. Like, yo, that shit is not like this beat don't even need you. Like, what you gonna do to add to this beat? This shit don't even need you, my guy." And I was like, and so
I thought we were friends.
Later that like he left to fly back to New York, but later that day he like texted me. He's like, "Yo, bro, I didn't mean to like come down," because I was like 21. He's like, "I didn't mean to come down on you like that. Just." I really like that song, and I think that shit's gonna be crazy. By the way, check your email, and he had sent a verse on the record for me. I was like, "Oh man, that's really dope."
Man, that's what's
so
up.
I bought.
So you went back.
I went back and I had to read. Man, but he inspired me, and I'm glad he did that.
Exact same, right?
It broke my heart, but it was like, you know what? You're right.
It was less heavy, you know what I mean, when my homie told me to go back and rewrite, but I kind of discovered like playing around a little bit, right? So I was super dead up serious when I wrote that verse. I forget what I was saying in it, but I remember just being super dead serious. Like, I'm gonna fuck this up. And then like, you know, I came back to it with a little bit more of a light heart and playful energy. And it was fun. Like I said, I kind of discovered that process that I never even like went into.
For me creating, man, like I'm a stage guy. You know what I mean? One thing I do like though is features. If someone hit me for a feature and I hear what they got, I'm like, yo, I'm about to fuck this nigga up.
Yeah.
That's always my shit. Like when I do a film, I'm like, yo, you about to.
Yeah.
Like Voss just sent me a record. I'm like,
word?
yo, I'm about to get busy.
Shouts
like,
out to
you
Mike Voss.
wildin'. Like
Yeah.
his shit is. He hasn't written his verse. The beat is nuts. I'm like, yo, you about to get this work.
Oh, it's about to happen.
Because
Word.
like he's such a competitive guy, and I know he gonna go. He know what time it is.
Absolutely, yeah,
Know what time it is. You gonna get these bars, cuz.
Absolutely.
But nah, man, that's my tip. I love features, but nah, man, for me, I'm on stage, bro. Live show is like my bread and butter. Is where we pay the bills, and it's my favorite. It's just that's my expression.
Yeah.
Because I get to fuck with the crowd, and there's no one show like the other. Every show for me, if I do 20 shows in a row, all 20 will be different.
Yeah.
So that's my shit. But nah, man, the creative process is cool. Hearing the beat for the first time and it give you that feeling like, oh, this shit is nuts. I like that.
Are you involved in production at all?
So nah, like it depends.
To any extent.
Lately, I just holler at Caesar like, yo, you got joints? Let me just get that, because that's just one less thing for me to worry about.
Yeah. And you do so much.
Yeah,
in terms
you know what I
of
mean.
your own career.
Yeah, I'm like I got my manager, my girl Tavia. But honestly, it's just me and her, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So we're all like a 2-person label in a sense. So I'm not trying to. What I've lately been wanting Chris to do, Caesar, is like, yo, can you write the hook for me? Like, give me a record with the hook already, man. He did that with the song I got called Vice. That's his hook. He freestyled it. He says it, and I'm like, yo, that makes my life so much. You ain't gonna write none of my verses, but let me get that hook right quick, fam. That makes life easier, bro. Like, let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? So, but now as it pertains to the beats, I'm not really in the creative process.
Is it important to have format and structure, not just with the song, but with I guess everything that you're doing? Because it seems like you have everything down to a bit of a science.
Not really, man. Like, the song itself. I got records where I just bar niggas to pieces for 36 bars. I got songs where the verses are only 4 bars a piece. I got records where it's the hook first, a verse, hook, song over. So for me, the format doesn't really matter. The problem with Chris is Caesar. What the gift and the curse is, he'll give me a beat, and the whole beat will be like 21 bars long.
Okay.
It'll be like a minute and 11.
I was gonna say,
and I'll be like, yo, Chris, what the fuck? So for example, if you listen to the song on this new project, Road to Rolex, I got a song called Bless My Soul.
Yeah.
That beat is as long as I got it. The way it's formatted is how I got it.
How it came.
And so when I heard it, I was like, yo, the first verse is like 8 bars. The second verse is like 12.
Word.
Both hooks are different, like lengths. And can you change it? He was like, nah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you just not gonna change that at all? He's like, nah, bro, you got that. And I was like, damn. So it made me like make a song out of it, and I did. It came out really dope. You know what I mean?
Word.
So that's actually gets on my damn nerves, but it also expands my creativity. And he'd be like, I knew you could do it.
You need creative people around you to kind of like bump up against in some sense, like, you know what I mean, like for them to have different processes than you. And
because, man, I see things in such a, like, not black and white way, but I see things in such a way that, like, I don't ever want to, like, jump out of it. I'm a creature of habit.
Yeah.
And so you get people like my man Caesar, whoever the case, and they're like, yo, we gotta switch the game up. You know what I'm saying? So that's cool.
So what's the next I guess venture for you? I mean, music or otherwise. I don't know if you like jumping outside of music in any way.
Man, I'm trying to.
You are a sneakerhead.
Oh yeah, for sure. I got shoes for days. I'm sitting on like 100 pair. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
But next for me is this Friday I'm doing a show at Hollow Wolf, my 10-year anniversary concert, which is great. I'm gonna be putting out a couple new singles like June, July. I'm dropping a music video Friday as well for the song Money Moves. Music video, and I got a video for this song Shoulder Chips, and I'm dropping. That's really dope. I'm going to be doing another tour with Tank and the Bangers in September. We're going to be doing 2 weeks with those guys. That's really cool.
Anywhere in the Northeast?
I believe so. I think we're going to be doing, I want to say Philly. I got to get the dates because I don't want to say it and then it don't happen. But I think we're going to be, for sure. And yeah, if you're in the city, pull up, I got you. So that's really it, man. We're going to be touring, putting out new music. There's a TV show that might be having a new song for me in it. I can't say all the details yet, but it's a show everybody watches. So it's going to be dope to hear the reaction of everyone. And they go, oh, shit, is that Alfred? Like, that's going to be dope. So we're working on that. And that's really it for me, man.
Word. Yo, thank you for coming through the Parlor, man. I don't know if you want to drop any gems or jewels or anything like that. But
hey, yo, real talk, like serious. No, I'm just kidding. Nah, man, just that's how you know this nigga bullshit. Yo, for real, like serious. Twitter.com/UnderdogCentral. UnderdogCentral.com is the website. Instagram.com/UnderdogCentral. Just, man, if you got goals, man, just go for it and don't let nothing stop you. Sometimes things can be a bitch. You never know. You don't got no back and all these things. But, man, if you really want something, you'll make sure you'll find a way to make it happen. So just grind, work, and the world's yours.
Yeah, man, and thank you, man. I know you are like a reflection of the city. New Orleans has been beautiful, and we're gonna continue to sink our teeth into it. We got a whole bunch more coming. This is the Parlor. Yeah. Vicious Beats up next. Delicious, my fault.
Beats up
Yes,
next.
yes.
You dig? So stick around, man.
Yeah, we got the homies from back home too, man. It's a really jam-packed show.
It's
Yo,
lit,
thank
man.
you again for coming through, man. I appreciate
You
you.
already know what time it is, baby. Let's get it.
More music for your head top. That was a weak. I shouldn't have said that. Oh man, do you have a drop? I want to make a drop like sounds delicious.
Oh, hit him with it. Just say it. Hit him with it.
So delicious. So delicious.
Yes. Yo, this is the Parlor. We are live from New Orleans, Louisiana. I still can't express my excitement around that. I can't believe we are here, dog. Like, it's happening right now. Thank you for watching.
Check.
Thank you for listening. Alpha
Hear that?
Banks.
Know your clap.
Yeah, know your clap. Alfred Banks just jumped in and then dipped out. That was beautiful.
It's heavy, man.
Yeah, right now to my left, we got Delicious Beats.
What's up, baby?
How are you?
Good.
I appreciate you being here. Yo,
So glad to have you guys
We
here.
saw him earlier at the Jazz and Heritage Center. What were you doing? I was about to give a description, but you go ahead and give
Actually,
a
I'm
description.
glad you asked because I have two tracks that I want to play first that involve the students. So,
Perfect.
okay, so what we've been doing, this is when I say we, this is Back Season Records. Our team includes Wino Willie, Friend Carrick, Elgin Brown, Afka,
My
and
guy.
myself, Delicious Beats. We are helping over at Upbeat Academy, which is a program that helps kids get the jump off on electronic music.
It was an incredible space that we were in. I was really taken back by it all, honestly. Like the artwork when you step in is crazy. We're talking about oil on canvas,
Oh, my God.
photos,
Unreal.
right? And then you
Unreal.
step into these rooms like the drum room, bunch of drum sets.
Right. Every room is special. They got, the piano room. They got the electronic music room. They got the computer music room. And then they have other stuff I haven't even seen. The closets in there are crazy.
Word.
Ooh, they got goodies in there.
And it was just open for the youth, for the kids to come in and really develop their
Indeed.
artistry. It was really, honestly, I am an after school. I'm a product of after school programs, like for real in Philly, and so I did poetry, I did arts and crafts and all these other different things. There was this one program I was a part of called Biz Arts. We did packaging, like art, graphic design, packaging. It was weird.
It's useful.
But it was just one of those things where, like, just to kind of go somewhere after school, because, as you know, there's not a lot of places to go as a kid, as a youth, and it's real easy to get in trouble. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they had snacks. They had like chips and gummy bears and all kinds of stuff like that, and chocolate milk, whatever. But in any case, I got that vibe from that space, and it was a really, really beautiful space to be in. So yeah, man, shouts out to you and everything that you were doing.
Yeah, man, I'm enjoying that.
You said you were about to play something that y'all worked on today, or?
Well, this was actually yesterday. So part of the process I was explaining to them is I have a lot of old school gear. This is I've been making beats since the '93,
Gotcha.
and so
To
this
infinity, you know what I mean?
'93 to infinity. But this machine here it was built in '97, And I was doing the analog style of music showcase, showing the kids the connection between these machines and the modern DAWs. And so basically this was a result of me showing them how to do some sequencing on the 202 and the MPC 1000.
I was gonna say, is that what's in front of us right now? So we got the Boss Dr. Samples SP.
Yeah, so this is the SP202. It is the older brother of this guy right here, the 404SX, which is very popular among everyone now.
I feel like my DJ uses this. I gotta.
I'm pretty positive of it.
Yeah.
It's very old, like me. So this card is 4 megabytes.
Wow.
So everybody's phone will run laps around this thing.
Yeah.
So it's funny. Alfred Banks was talking about how his creative process results in some limitations, and this is my firm belief and almost philosophy is limiting yourself. So the reason why I'm speaking this way is because my machines in the beginning limited me, and I make music in that way. I create the limitations now. I put myself in a box, and I find like I'm the most creative, and actually I do a little bit of visual art as well.
Gotcha.
And same thing applies there too. If you set parameters for yourself, it makes things simplified.
Okay.
And that way you can kind of create and move freely.
Like a less is more kind of a vibe?
Always.
All right.
Always. So, I was teaching the kids this because they're really, they're into the computers because it's accessible and it's what they know. Their friends are using it and whatnot. But I wanted to show them how you can break out of that mold and still create and be mobile. I mean, this thing's got batteries. Yeah. I mean, on my way home from Philly, I made like 7 beats in the airport through the day and took Instagram photos and, kind of just kept my day going. But I was making beats on the plane, and I had an old couple sitting next to me heading to Dallas. And we ended up chatting, and I went back with my headphones on and got back into it. And at the end, the old man pulled me aside and was like, I got to know, what is that machine? You're twisting knobs. What's going on there? And so, it's, to me, it just makes me very, very mobile, and I can keep it moving.
And is your message to the students like accept limitations or embrace it, I guess?
My message to them is don't be overwhelmed by what's out there. Sometimes what you need to dial it in, set your limitations, and you'll create.
Word. Well, I'm definitely anxious to hear what y'all cooked up.
Yeah. So let me bring something up real quick. I'm going to have to remember because I have this weird coding system.
And this is a collaborative effort or just one student?
So these are 2 students.
Okay.
Let's see if I can.
It's alive.
So these guys literally did this in about 5 minutes.
From this machine?
From an MPC 1000.
Gotcha.
Let me explain a little bit too. So I explained to them I have this process where in order for me to utilize the playability of this machine, I do a lot of my work on my DAW at home. So I took the recording that we made on the MPC, dumped it into my DAW. I use Ableton. Dumped it into my system at home, did all of this kind of playability tweaks and effects and all that, and edits and dropouts and whatnot, and I leave it in a spot where I can kind of
backseas and the coders team,
drop tags like that. But basically, these guys vibed it out, and they just kind of worked with some samples I gave them, tracked some drums out. I was really proud of them.
Yeah, they seemed like they were really like focused, you know what I mean? Like, I just walked into the room and sat in the back a little bit, but they were really intensely watching and learning. And
they are. I gotta say, this was my first week there. They were definitely a lot of them that were return people. They were taught by AF the Naysayer. You guys know who that is? AF?
I don't.
AF has actually moved out of town. He's in Baltimore now.
Okay.
But he held it down for a long time here, and I know that he, put his mark on those kids,
Yeah.
And it feels good to just be, the torch was passed, I guess.
Word.
So let me play another one here.
Please, yeah.
All right, so let me find it real quick.
This is the Parlor live from New Orleans.
Yo, what up? What up?
New Orleans. I'm trying to get that little twang. New Orleans. Yeah.
I
That's hard.
obviously have to do a little mixing here. Turn my bass down a little bit if you don't mind, bro. Yeah, this is cold, man. So one of my lessons to him yesterday was to increase your mobility.
This is
dope.
dope.
You pull samples from the internet,
Yeah.
So I kind of dropped a little dime on him, like how I do it, So in the very beginning, I did a lot of crate digging and actual record buying and which is fine. I'm still ahead. I love that, but it's just you can't deny the accessibility of YouTube. Man, this is crazy. I don't know what's going on there. So yeah, it's heavy, man. It's heavy. I gotta run it through that master tool,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm gonna turn it off. It's a little bit harsh, but anyway, one of my tools is one of my tricks is I pull I sample a lot of jazz. So I'm from New Orleans. I love jazz. Jazz just bleeds around here. It happens on a dime. You be caught up in traffic from it. I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
Whether you want it or
about
not.
That? Like, where does that all come from?
What do you mean?
Why is it so I guess deeply rooted into the cloth, into the fabric and culture?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Why has it never gone away?
Okay, well,
despite all the different changes over the time.
Yeah, definitely. And jazz is kind of the movement has happened all over the world, really. But New Orleans has got the identity attached to jazz, number one, and the neighborhoods are attached to the second line bands. So the bands that form in the neighborhoods around here. Even the kids look up to them, where you would think in other cities, kids would be like, man, fuck that.
I don't like jazz.
Yeah. Over here, man, you get mad respect if you turn it out on a trumpet,
Word.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy like that. And it's real and it happens on a daily. You guys go down to Frenchman Street yet?
Yes.
Frenchman Street's the jump off. I mean, you'll see some things happen on the corner down there.
Yeah.
So what really happens is the whole city is spread out. But in every area, you have a representation of somebody who can turn it out with the brass,
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I just love jazz. I've always attached myself to it. I grew up actually a couple hours from here.
Gotcha.
I've been in New Orleans for about 15 years, but I had some friends in the jazz scene down there that would just let me sit in, and I would do a lot of writing back then. And then, I told the story the last time when we were in Philly about, where I met the sampler for the first time, and that's really changed my life.
Oh, can you tell that story now? I love to hear it.
Yeah, 100, man. So actually, the dude that I'm talking about, the jazz guy that really influenced me, he had an EPS 16 Plus in Sonic, the same machine that basically all the classic producers used back then. Mm-hmm. Premier was more of a MPC guy, right? Yeah, MPC 60.
Gotcha.
Particularly Alchemist uses the big brother of my machine, but they're very similar. They have the same qualities of why I still use it today.
Yeah.
It's got some cool tricks to it. Kanye is a famous one that uses it. Jake One.
Oh man, he's amazing. Jake One.
Yeah, they'll go down in history using that thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, my friend Frank, he's a jazz drummer, phenomenal jazz drummer. He taught me many lessons, but mainly he sold me my first sampler. I met a dude that had one, and just like that same year, luckily, I ran into this guy named Frank who had one as well, and he was a jazz drummer, he's not using it in the way that I wanted to use it. And so he was like, yeah, I'll sell it to you. And so that's where it began. The difference is that it took me forever to find out how to use it because there was no YouTube.
That's the process, cracking it open and jumping in and trying to get
I mean, there was nobody around to show me things, I had to really figure it out. And that was the learning curve,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll tell the story about Frank. This guy really affected me in this way with my workflow and my drive of trying to do something different and always pushing it forward, pushing the envelope. So this guy was a jazz drummer, or is a jazz drummer, and real predominant left hand. So anybody that knows how to play drums knows that if you predominate in any hand, you messed up because you got to be coordinated.
You got to be ambidextrous, right? You got to be all over the place.
So I used to hang out with these dudes and vibe out and just listen. I mean, this is probably why I could pick jazz apart. Like, you know, like now I look back on it like, yo, I was in the room with this, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, he told me one day, I'm going to intentionally switch my drum set over to the right hand and just play. And this dude plays progressive jazz.
Gotcha.
And I was like, man, that's committing right there. So he went a whole year and did that. And then so about a year later, he calls me up and says, I'm switching back over tonight. You should come over. And I mean, it was incredible. The dude just killed it, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I took that lesson and did those same things for myself. I limit myself at times.
Yeah.
I'll switch it up. I'll try new things. I'll change the program I'm using.
Yeah.
I'll change the machine I'm using, you know, just to see how it's done in that world, you know?
And I'm not sure if this relates at all, but, you know, Blue Drew and I were talking about fitness a little bit and just like how you plateau a little bit. If you do something over and over again, you just kind of you get used to it.
Right.
And it's like, I got to change it up. I got to like do something. Would you say that's like the same thing? Or
Man, it's funny you said that
or just
exact word.
mastering something. Like there's something to be said about that too. Like mastering a
I
process.
call it the fitness all the time.
Where?
So last year, this is where the real turn happened. Number one, I met Wino Willie. You know, so we met at a Ableton user group that they hold down here.
Got you.
The other cat, it's actually right down the way. Elgin Brown, who's also in the Bag Season group, he was part of that too. We just kind of just met and it was like, you know, kind of like-minded folks, you know.
Yeah.
And so
Community building.
yeah, man, it was just crazy how we met. And so at the time, I wasn't messing with any kind of hardline samplers, although I owned them. I had an MPC. Still have it. I have an MPC 2000 original classic. I have that EPS, and all of it was in storage because I was just like, I'm gonna learn this DAW. I was in that mode, you know.
Yeah.
And so when I met him, I was in that mode, and then we started connecting, and that's where the Bag Season thing started because we just throw our samplers in the bag, but I had to do the switchback, you know, because we were just like, you know, we were connecting a lot, you know. But yo, like I benefited from that time frame. So last year I forced myself to do. Now this is before Bag Season, but I committed to releasing a mixtape every week.
Okay.
Every Sunday I'll put out a mixtape, and so it was basically just like
a complete body,
like EP style, you
Gotcha,
know, like maybe
gotcha.
like anywhere from 9 minutes to 22 minutes. You know?
Gotcha.
And I went crazy with it. I actually put out. There's 52 weeks. I put out 56.
And that's a workload right there. Like
It is.
You had to be locked in. Did you like just not see your family for a while too? Like,
My girl was pissed, man.
Got you.
My girl was mad
gonna
as
say.
hell. my girl. We say it. Yeah, I'm a shout out to Numbers. She's a CP. I call her Numbers. That's my girl.
Yeah.
Karen, I love you, baby. But one thing is, a couple years back, I lived in the city. I lived in Mid City, beautiful area. But I wanted to buy a house, and so we ended up buying a house in the suburbs, what they call the West Bank.
Got you.
And so as a result, I got a house out of it. I got a studio space, and the workflow has just been amazing because I have, you know, everything hooked up and ready to roll.
Perfect.
So it really helps me to be mobile, but also I'm able to plug in and go after it. So
Right. So I'm gonna ask you a generic question, more or less. What kind of music do you make? Like, what is it that you attempt to make, and what actually happens?
Good call, man.
Yeah.
Back in the day, in the 90s, when I was doing this music.
Oh man, say it. I thought he was gonna back in the day.
He was
when I
younger,
trying
not a
to
kid
get
anymore.
anymore. So
Right.
days I was just
Yeah. What's that dude's name? Skilo?
Was it Ski?
Shout out Skilo.
Was it Skilo?
Is Amal?
Ahmad. I
Oh,
wish I was a little bit
damn.
taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish
I don't know. I'm sorry if I disrespect them. Oh,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
back then, you know, now it's called lo-fi what I make.
Okay.
Back then, it was called fi. You know, it was called music. You know?
Okay.
But yeah, basically, I just make grimy beats, man. I like making loops.
Yeah.
You know, loops is my game. I sample everything. You know,
Word.
nothing is safe. You know.
Got you.
Right. We're gonna take this audio and sample it. I'm pretty sure.
Yo, that'll be beautiful. Let me know if you do, and then send me the beat
True.
for sure.
True.
Yeah. So is that again a focus of yours? Like you attempt to make that style of music? I know a lot of times when I create, you know, I attempt to make something, and then it kind of turns out differently. You know what I mean?
Of course, and it's true.
Yeah, there's happy mistakes and accidents and things like that. The creative process and energy is a funny thing. Sometimes you do have control, and then sometimes it's like, I didn't mean to make this, but this is fire.
Right. It's a result of being creative and just exploratory.
Yeah.
So you know, like a lot of people I have this kind of weird process. I can't really demonstrate it right now because I don't have the MPC with me. But I use the MPC in a very random chopping way. It's got this cool feature on it where you can do this chop shop kind of idea where you drop, you know, big chunks of music in and you can just chop, you know, you can throw markers on it and chop them up. And so a lot of people will intentionally like mark, you know, where the changes are, where the chords are, where the, you know, where the transients are. And I simply just randomly chop. You know, and as a result, you end up with this kind of randomness that you didn't expect, and then I'll find the grooves within that in the chops. So it's kind of an interesting way, but it helps with speed. And you know, of course, you have to have some music knowledge, but you know, it's part of the sample that you choose. This is why I kind of look for jazz, because jazz will have groupings of instrumentation that I'm looking for.
Gotcha.
You know, you look for pieces of music without drums.
Yeah,
you know? So
that's an interesting way to go about it. So I mean, I could be like summing this up wrong, but you kind of chop it up, make a mess, and then find the
make adjustments with that. But it's random and quick, but you end up with heat, you know.
Yeah.
And if you're doing small loops, it doesn't really get lost in the fold. You know, it's not like that doesn't sound like chaos.
Yeah. And is there anything that you have in front of us that you could play
of
that style or of that?
Yeah. So I have this crazy coding system, and I have thousands of beats. So let me try and find one that's on the quick.
Word.
Let's see. My DS is what I'm looking for. I actually stayed up really late last night because I've discovered this new part of my workflow that I can bring old beats in. So I actually have a bunch of stacked beats here that were made in the 90s.
That you made?
That I made, and that I brought back to life with some processing in Ableton. So actually, let me play a little bit.
Fire.
Let me play a little bit what I'm talking about. Like this, some of these beats, like when I was playing them last night, I was like, man, it's such a time warp.
I was gonna say, by all means, run a little set.
All right, yeah. Let me just get into it, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the first couple of tracks I'm gonna play are the older ones. I'm telling
Delicious beats, everybody. This is the Parlor live from New Orleans. Yes, I said that, New Orleans. It's happening. Yeah. Real quick, what did you make these on? In Sonic EPS? Was it EPS? So you just said too that you made this in 1998. This is ill.
And I know the time frame because I was using 808 hi-hats like a crazy person.
All right, word.
You know, like, so you listen, as the beat goes on, it gets crazier, right? I was crazy with it, man.
Delicious beats, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Parlor.
Bag season.
Yeah. All the way live from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hey.
We got the native son, native born creator here. This is beautiful. I like
Dropped
this.
on the Pro Tools
Yeah.
7.
Oh, word.
So part of my process is I use a lot of breaks. I'll chop breaks up, old breaks, repurpose breaks, make
Yeah.
my own breaks. You know, so a lot of that, you know, I've kind of developed a little bit cleaner style with drums recently, but a lot of my older beats will have these kind of like break type, you know, kind of feels. You know what I mean?
How important is it to you to like be rooted or grounded in a style? Or
Oh, it's not. I mean, it happens regardless because I just am attracted to, you know, just making music from anything, you
Yeah.
know? So I got into this habit of, you know, in the, probably 2010, I bought a mini disc player. And I was living in Las Vegas and had a girlfriend in Montreal, and I was like traveling quite a bit. And so everywhere I went, I would take, you know, audio, you know, just walk the streets and take audio. I learned this thing from Madlib. Actually, I was at a record store in Vegas, and Madlib like busted in with Loop
Kicked
Pack
down the door.
shooting a video.
oh wow.
And so after I got to meet him, and I was just being observant, and all three of them, Wild Child, Madlib, and DJ Rome's, all had mini disc players, and they were just taking audio, and I was like, "What's going on here?" You know? And then I just realized that these dudes are just being resourceful and just capturing everything, and it's probably a result of, you know, you hear it in his record. He's got crazy like little ad libs and, you know,
Yeah,
all that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I
mean, when
picked
you
up on that.
When you think about it, sound is free and it's everywhere, right?
It's
so it's
everywhere,
like you
man.
can capture,
And you live in a city like this,
yeah, like
you
New
know,
Orleans,
shit
right?
pops off, man.
Oh my God! In a split second, you can capture something.
All right, so let me move.
That lo-fi.
This is the EPS right here, man. This thing is gritty. Shit's gritty.
This is a little
Bag season.
It's almost meditative. You know what I mean? This is almost something you can just like close your eyes to, put on, and just like let yourself go. Hey, Toonami! Shouts out to Toonami, Cartoon Network. Delicious beats. This is the Parlor, live from New Orleans, Louisiana. Follow us on IGs, live from the Parlor. More music, more music, more music. Yeah.
All right, so this was some stuff I made this year sometime.
This is rather recent though. Okay. Got you. This is what he was doing in the airport. Like I said, by all means, run your set, play as little or as a lot as you want. We got Wino Willie coming up next. The homie for real, for real. No one knows his origin stories. We just got the details of it straight tonight. Once again, this is the Parlor live from New Orleans, Louisiana. My name is the Bull Bay. Follow us on IG live from the Parlor. Delicious Beats right now is in the mix, blessing us. Bless, bless, bless.
Explain a little bit about this setup I got. It's kind of a testament to the limitations of the machine. So one of the greatest things that I discovered about this thing, and it shared the same idea with this SX, a 404, which is why I think it's very popular, is that this thing is just unlimited in its storage capacity, number one, but you also have this ability to bring an outside source of music through it and affect it as it comes in. So the same thing applies with this. That's what this little source button is about. It allows me to bring the iPhone in, which is, kind of shitty, but I dropped my full beats on there, and I'm just able to manipulate it as it comes in. Perfect. And so it's really useful for a mobile type setup.
Yeah. And so, are you working on any projects? Have worked on anything? Like, how can we access your music?
Right now, I have some limited stuff out on Spotify.
Gotcha.
And we're currently working with some stuff with the bag season stuff, and hopefully by the end of the year, I'll have like a nice project to release. Maybe a couple. I'm not exactly sure yet, but I'm not really heading towards any goal. I honestly need to attend to all of the music that I created last year.
Yeah.
It's stacked up, and which was kind of like what I started last night, was just beginning that process. It's going to take me a little while to kind of go through it and kind of bring it up to the modern era and master it, to tell you the truth, because I did not know anything about compression back then.
Yeah.
Now I got to run it through the compression.
Sharpening the blade, of course.
Of course. But yeah, at the moment I have nothing really planned. I just have a plan to put something out. I'm gonna gather it up. Me and my man Elgin Brown were talking today. We're gonna conspire and get something done.
That's what's up. What about collaborations? Do you do that a lot, or?
Well, with the back season guys, it's pretty much just it is collaborations. We all we're all individual, but for the most part, we're just working towards a common goal. And a lot of times we just get I got tons of tracks that Charlie laid drums on.
I was gonna say, what does that look like? You get something in the email, like, all right, do something on this. Like, what is that? What does that even like?
Well, we actually, we're in person. We're doing it in person.
Gotcha.
But we definitely do send things around. But for the most part, it's just like, let's connect and do it.
So this is a real communal thing, like coming together and working on all these different sounds.
That's right.
And things like that.
Yeah. So that's the whole Delicious Beats thing, is that I'm a chef,
Oh, wow.
So I fuse the two worlds together. I always have.
Nice.
We can really get into it if you want, but
do you make or listen to music while you make food? Like, you listen to your music?
Yeah. Well, I don't really listen to my music unless I'm monitoring it for it's kind of hard to explain. Whenever I'm checking my levels, I'll listen to music. Like when I got a little commute every day, I drive that in. But for the most part, when I have time to listen to music, I'm listening for samples.
Okay.
I'm listening for other stuff, and I'm a hound about it. Like I was telling you about my mini disc player. I don't really do it much anymore, but I used to just press record on and have it hooked up to my TV. So while I'm watching TV, turning channels, it's capturing audio.
Yeah.
And then I'll write notes about it and whatnot. But it's just being in that mindset is really,
Word. Well, you just dropped the bomb. that he's a chef, hence Delicious Beats.
Yeah.
So do you want to give like a superhero origin story of how all this ties together and where it all started and how we got here today? Like how does that like sound and look or work?
Well, I mean, I never thought of it this way, but my music career started in a restaurant. I have I have a history of not quitting a job. Like I was like the rock of every place I've ever worked at, and so the few restaurants that I have worked at, I never really left. So I grew up in the Lafayette area, Cajun territory.
Wow.
And so I'm Cajun on both sides. My last name is Abears, the Smith of the Cajuns, basically.
Okay.
Right. Shout out to all the Abears.
Got you. Knowledge.
Yeah. And so I basically met these cats working in a restaurant, and we started conspiring. We formed a band called Red Giant. It was like kind of like a funk rap. It was kind of like a funk rock type rap band, more on the funk music side. And so, but it was my introduction to music because in high school I played a lot of basketball. I didn't mess with music.
Okay.
And so,
What position?
shooting forward.
All right.
Yeah. And so,
Still play?
yeah, that's
All right,
like my workout, man. That's how I work out still. You know what I mean? I got to get it in, baby. You know.
Word.
Actually, I'm going to shoot after this. You know.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, I'm getting it in. But anyway, just to move on, we formed a band, and then I ended up getting a radio show and meeting some cats. I started learning about mixing and then engineering, and here and there. I was like really getting into it. It was starting to become a fire, you know. And then I met that cat with the sampler, and that just lit the fire. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That was it. And then after that, it was game. You know.
It was a rap. Yeah. Are you that like? You have like an intense focus when you kind of key in on an interest or something like that?
Well, the food. I mean, like just like the music, I'm just as intense about the food.
Got you.
So you know, what's that? Yeah, you like this was old as hell too, bro.
Yeah.
It blows me away.
We got
man.
an interest in this beat right here. What's the name of this beat? How do you know
Oh,
these?
so okay, that's the thing, man. I don't name my tracks.
Got you.
I have, and this is a result of me working with a lot of different systems through the years. So in the beginning, I started with the EPS, and then I moved on, and then a lot of my disc for the EPS, which are 3.5-inch floppies, started to become corrupted,
Gotcha.
and I wasn't able to save on it anymore.
Shit.
And so as a result, I would perform my beats out and record it in whatever way I could, cassette, whatever. And so I built up all of these beats and just had no organization. And so this is a tip for all the beat makers out there. Whatever kind of system naming system that you come up with, think about the future. Think about how it's going to develop whenever you have 1,000 of them, you know, and how is it going to look whenever you need to retrieve it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started to come up with this coding system. I mentioned it a couple times, mainly because I've been talking about it at the classes with the kids.
Yeah.
But mainly it reflects the system that I work with. So I have this coding system where the first two letters represent the system that I'm working with, and then a number system, and then there's some digits that'll happen after if it's like a master version or if it's a remix.
So
or
you know
if it's,
how and when you made it and what process the beat is in, like whether it's like you said a master version or
right, exactly.
Word.
Right.
Word. Well, I'm gonna let you jump back into the set.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a few more tracks. I'm not gonna go much longer, but I'm gonna let Charlie get up in here.
Yeah, nah, dig in. Once again, it's the Parlor, live from New Orleans, Louisiana. Boom, babe, we got Delicious Beats right here. Let's get it.
delicious.
Tastes fine.
Yes, yes, y'all. To the beat, y'all. Get to the beat, y'all. And you don't stop.
So delicious.
Do that one more time.
So delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I rap a little on this? Look. Dirt on the bottom of my kicks, probably from 8 different countries. You just got dirt on your shit. Walk around looking bummy. It's all good, I ain't judging. You know I came from the gutter, southwest side of Philadelphia, chilling up in the ducky, forever keeping it funky. Y'all it went off. Yo, make some noise. Make some noise like we got this is delicious beats, man. Yo,
All
thank
right,
you for
all
stopping
right.
by,
Peace,
man. We
man.
really
It's a
appreciate
pleasure,
it, man.
baby.
Thank you for coming to the
No
parlor.
doubt, man. No
It
doubt.
really means a lot to us. We are here live in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is insane. I'm still beside myself. Really, really happy to be here. The city is beautiful. The city's hot as shit.
Indeed. It doesn't get better. It doesn't get better.
Yeah. We're not gonna waste no time, man. We're gonna have the homie come right in. Some of you watching at home may already know who this individual is. A lot of you may not. So I'm gonna just like give a nice little introduction. World traveler for sure. You know what I mean? Switch up the switch up. You know what I mean? Yeah, live from hometown, but really live in New Orleans. We got Wino Willie, and he's just gonna jump right in. Let's get it. We're gonna talk a little bit, but he gonna fuck it up for y'all.
I'm sure it ain't lying to you.
Come on.
I'm sure it ain't lying to you. I'm the outlet man.
You are now in the mix. The Parlor coming at you live in New Orleans, Louisiana. My name is the Bull Bay. That don't matter right now, no, because right now you are listening to the sounds of Rhino Willie. Yeah. Oh, that's how you feel. That's how you feel. Yeah.
Dois aqui, fazendo minha
You gotta be nodding your head right now if you're listening to this. I'm just saying. Yeah. On IG, live from the Parlor. You are now in the mix with Rhino Willie. We in New Orleans. Yeah. Let's go, Rhino Willie. Let's get it. Welcome to the Parlor. My name is the Bull Bay. We're not done. That's how you feel, Rhino Willie?
save some beats for tomorrow, bro. This is a good one. This one is something I worked on with some musicians down here. Some live bass. I played a little bit of reversed throws on this. What's this boy ride out? I think I have some. Do I have some bad music?
I'm enjoying it because I feel like you're just having fun right now. Like, just absolutely enjoying it. So
I want this run for my interview. Down a little bit.
welcome to the Parlor. Why no Willie? How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling really good.
Hey man, yo, if y'all don't even know,
All right.
this is the homie from back home, and one of the reasons why we ended up in New Orleans is that correct? Like, I mean, we could have gone anywhere, you know what I mean? But this felt like home. This felt like familiar, you know, but different. You know what I mean? Obviously, New Orleans is its own thing, man. How are you?
Man, I'm good. I can't complain. This is a long time coming. A lot of folks don't know. Philly and New Orleans have a really long history of collaboration.
Yeah.
Frankie Beverly and Maze is basically the New Orleans national anthem.
Yeah.
You know, white linen suit, wearing, you know, Negroes down here. Much love to my folks. Love some Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Yeah.
And they're from Philadelphia.
Gotcha.
You know, they got their name right there on Broad Street, right in front of the theater. I saw them when we were walking up there. My guys and I were up there on tour this past weekend, and it just reminded me about that long line of collaboration. I was talking with Mr. Boss about the jazz musicians that came into town from New Orleans.
Absolutely.
When they would come north and do residencies, they had to have their addresses be in the north, and that was just love that was shown from folks who love good music. A lot of folks from Philadelphia go to New Orleans. You know, a lot of those great verses written, you know, I'm not going to blow up Wayne's spot, but a lot of those great, like, you know, the Cannon era. If anybody remembers the Cannon remix from Lil Wayne,
yeah,
everybody who was rapping on that was from Philly.
Wow.
It was all Philly rappers. It was Wayne, Gayle the Kid, Freeway.
Oh yeah,
all those dudes.
Yeah.
Like, and it was just, and that it's been like that for a really long time. A lot of, if you come down here, you go in the barbershops. You know, I'm messed up right now.
Same. I'm
Gary,
right there with you.
Gary,
right
don't. You know, I can recommend a dude, but Gary, don't. This is not an indictment on my barber, but a lot of the dudes here show a lot of love to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Beanie Siegel was right in the neighborhood over by Tremaine where we're living. He was down here for a long time when he was out of town just trying to get money. And I feel like to not be pretentious that I'm part of that lineage of guys that one way or another ended up in New Orleans from Philly and found home here. And I'm just trying to bring New Orleans back home and Philly back here.
Absolutely.
You know? And I really want to see a lot of collaboration between the artists who are from here with artists back home, because like my gentleman earlier, Alfred Banks, was saying, you know, you have a lot of guys who work really hard. And even the guys who have mainstream success here, they're just not respected in the way that I believe they should be. Like, I see, you know, you as I feel like I'm going to be interviewing you in a second, but this gentleman right here, I've been a fan of for a while. You know, John, shout out to the Serious Rap Shit podcast.
Yeah, man. Josh and John
Morrison. They're the reason that I'm, you know, in this room right now. John Morrison, Buddy Liesel, a lot of guys from back home who I'm, you know, been connected with and been fan of, like, you know, who, you know, like a generation above me, but really kind of embraced me and put me on and, you know, put me on to your music. I've been a fan. Like, I was at a show.
Appreciate it, man.
I was at a show at Johnny Brenda's that you just this man hopped up on stage. Bro, that's what I'm trying to get him to do tonight. I'm trying to, like, see if I can go home, make my wife happy, and then sneak out so I can see these. And then see if I can still catch y'all. But I'll see y'all tomorrow. But,
word, yeah.
You know, we're gonna be at Art Garage 3221
Absolutely.
St. Claude Avenue from 9 o'clock until 1. Come check us out. But I really, I've been a fan, and I feel humbled to be on this couch right now.
Hey man, it's community always. I always tell people like, you know, I had like this moment that happened to me a couple of years ago, and it just emphasized connecting with community. Like, you know what I mean? Don't isolate yourself. Absolutely jump in, see how you can serve the space and things like that. So, I mean, I feel the same exact way. You know, the music is incredible. Talent, your mind. Talk about your lineage. Like, you know, we just kind of got your origin story a little bit. It's been all over the place apparently, but you know, it's an incredibly interesting story.
I'll jump into it. Me personally, I was born in Edison, New Jersey, but all of my family members, North and West Philly, for generations, we're talking 4 or 5 generations, came up from North Carolina in the Great Migration before that. But we're a nomadic people. You know, we got Akis. I'm gonna shout out to my people. I'm gonna talk a little bit of Philly talk. If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
Let's get it.
If you know, you know. And I was able to be blessed to be able to travel around a lot. In high school, one of my best friends is from Taiwan, from mainland China as well. And I decided to study Chinese, was able to get a scholarship, went to high school in China, went to Morehouse, came back, went to China again, got a little degree in Chinese literature and culture, and rap a little bit in Chinese. Also, you catch me in a cipher, I might hit you with a little aid in Mandarin, you know, some slick. We're trying to set up that parlor in China soon.
Oh
Stay tuned.
my God!
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You know.
Yeah. How did you get anchored in I guess sample chopping and things like that? Like, why aren't you making K-pop?
Okay, so hip hop is in my bloodstream. My first musical memory was of We Got the Jazz by a Tribe Called Quest.
Whoa.
And Potholes in My Lawn off De La
Soul.
My
man.
dad, before he gave his life to Christ in college, but you know, while he was still figuring it out, we grew up listening to KRS-One, Criminal Minded, BDP, Native Tongue stuff.
That early in your life, it gets entrenched.
Yeah,
in,
it's just
like,
there's
who
just
you
certain
are.
moments where I can when I hear the song Flashlight by Parliament Funkadelic, I smell grilled cheese. Like I
Damn.
can't help it. Whenever I see it, I just smell it. Like I can feel just certain moments in my life that are just emphasized
Yo, that's
by
a
music.
thorough last moment, like making grilled cheese sound. Like,
Yeah, right. And it's that scent just coming on, and just like having those so chopping up samples. You see me here on the SP404. I perform on this.
Yeah.
Process samples to that. I had
dog,
one of
you
these.
were performing moments ago, dog. Like I know it was like casual, but you was killing it.
Thank you, man. I had one of these in 2011. There's an older version of this that was made in 2007 called the SP404 OG. It just says SP404 instead of the SX.
Yeah.
But I basically got my sampling started on that. I started making beats in middle school / beginning of high school, 2006. On Ableton. I still use Ableton to this day, but one of my friends had a copy. It was the full copy. They were basically just giving them away at that point.
Yeah.
I got on that and haven't looked back ever since. Before then, I was on Audacity. My homie had a tape deck. I was out here,
Damn.
Q-Tip said he paused the break. I'm like, I was trash at that. So I was like, I don't know if beat making is going to be for me because I could not afford.
How did you develop your process, style, craft, or anything
My
like
style,
that? Is it developed, or are you still like?
I would say I'm still working on it. Like a lot of my stuff, the stuff you hear here is some of that stuff like that I was playing earlier. Some of that stuff is completely non-sampled. It's me playing everything.
Yeah, you mentioned the road, like a reverse.
I've been playing, and that's mainly when I got down here. The musicians in this city, and Philadelphia has a similar legacy, but I didn't get really locked in the way I needed to back home until I got down here and meeting a lot of the musicians where they force you as a producer to learn your scales, learn your chords, and really just kind of push yourself. So I was able to, sit at the keyboard. I'm self-taught. I can play a little bit of bass. I can play a little bit of keys, and I was able to really create and craft a sound. I would say that I'm somewhere in the neo soul realm.
Yo, it sounded like
Lo-fi
Samurai
hip-hop.
Champloo, dog.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
Lo-fi hip-hop, if
Yeah.
you would say. But at my man Beats and I come from a similar school where he's actually lived there, and I was in a womb. I was coming out at that point.
Yeah.
And I think lo-fi hip-hop is almost disrespectful to the lineage of what production is. Like, it's boom bap. This is analog. This is people's lives. Like, lo-fi hip-hop is a YouTube channel.
Lo-fi hip-hop is a phrase that comes from post-EDM kids that live in places like Denver.
Yeah.
Have a hip-hop culture and legacy.
Yeah.
And for those not in the room, that's Eric Boss off camera, just kind of like jumping in.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Like, I want to say the guys that I run with, we don't make a lo-fi hip hop. Like, it's not, not even to be pretentious. It's just hip hop.
That was
These
a
are
real good
beats,
description too.
and these are beats. Like, I think.
Yeah, I was
that
gonna say you might need to repeat it on the mic real quick.
My
dog.
man said, and I'll repeat them so that and I'll credit my man Eric Boss said that lo-fi hip hop is like kids who post EDM kids who come from Denver who don't have a hip hop culture and just put the name on something. And I agree with that. I mean, I don't. If you want to get mad at me on sp404forum.com, feel free.
I heard someone try to like call Dilla lo-fi. And I was like,
and I think that's incredibly disrespectful. You're talking about, that's exactly
yeah,
like, that's exactly
those
what I
boxes
said.
are definitely.
Exactly. There's a lot of folks.
Yeah.
And I would say it's the same thing. Like, I get I'm going to connect this to a New Orleans conversation that we have a lot about what is jazz. And the jazz world is extremely segregated. You get the guys who do that salt peanuts bullshit, forgive me, and they think that's the only thing that's jazz. They see guys like Kamasi Washington's, guys like Christian Atunde Scott, who are from here. Even PJ Morton to a certain extent, where he's considered R&B, but those are jazz chops. And I think that, I come from a jazz lineage myself. My cousin is Rufus Harley from Philadelphia. He played on Do You Want More, played with John Coltrane, and he played bagpipes.
Let's go.
And folks, folks treated him away because they're like, you're playing, he's playing a reed instrument. Bagpipes are a reed instrument, but they're like, oh, this isn't sax, so it can't be jazz. I'm like, he's literally playing the same notes, so what's making this different? So when it comes to beats, I really carry that lineage with me. Like, I want to pay homage to the stuff I came up on. Like, I love let me show love to some folks from back home. I love like the Heat Makers. I love that Dipset sound. Like, that was stuff that really influenced me. I love Jalil Beats. I love all those guys. And those folks come from that lineage. And if you ask them, if they were out here playing, he could play trap beats on SP404. Does that make it lo-fi hip-hop? Does that make it EDM? Yeah, just because he has a lo-fi, does that make it EDM? No, and I think that these are the things, these are the labels that folks try to, and I got a little booted up, so let me calm down a little bit. But these are the labels that they put on our music and our cultures to marginalize us and to try to keep us out of rooms. And I think the reason that I went back home and I reached back, I was like,
talk that talk, Wino, really. Let's go, man.
The reason I went and I went back home and made sure that I could reach back is so that folks are opening those doors and are using those resources to build that community, to circle it right back to community. Folks like Alfred Banks have done things here, have been in the city. Truth Universal have been in the city. Slangston Hughes have been in the city, like putting on, and guys that you guys are going to see, Prospect, have been here, have been making music for a long time. And me being fortunate enough to come from out of the city and seeing the talent and seeing that there wasn't a scene here disappointed me. Because there's such a rich culture here. And one of the reasons I wanted you guys to come to Jazz and Heritage Museum was to see that history, to see, okay,
very vivid.
We're making beats in
Very
this
vivid. Building
where they have the Mardi Gras Indians on the wall, where they have Buddy Bolden on the wall, where they have these guys to remind you that this is part of our lineage too. The reason we're in that building is to remind New Orleans that that bounce remix that everybody's talking about, that bounce beat, that's electronic music. And that came from, believe it or not, back home. That's Curtis Mantronics. Those are electronic guys, Schoolie D. Those are the guys who influenced New Orleans bounce music.
Absolutely.
And, you know, if you're looking at brass music, that's stuff, there's beats and rhythms in that come from go-go. So I want New Orleans and Philly in our scenes, in our current iteration, to have that pathway opened up, so that the kids who are down here, who are looking around and feeling like, oh, I might not be supported in my city, to know, okay, you can go out of town and come back home and they will love you. Because sometimes it takes, you know, they want to see you do something. And I know back home it's like that too. They want to see you do something. They want to see you go somewhere and know that you always have a home in New Orleans.
Yeah, I heard this idea that in a conversation, like, you know, it's hard to inspire somebody. Nah, you good. I want you to keep going. But I just wanted to jump in on that idea of, like, you know, people wanting to see you do something kind of like outside of where you are. I heard this like idea, like, people can't or just have a hard time getting inspired when you're right next to them.
Okay.
Right. So when you're sitting right next to them, it's like, well, you are where I am. So, you know, there's not much inspiration to draw from that. But if you are, I don't know, far and away and you know, there's distance and there's, I don't know, all these other different things that kind of separate you, there's some inspiration to be had. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I know I'm a real, like, peer-to-peer people kind of a person. Like, I really like, I get inspired by people. You know what I mean? And my closeness to them. Almost in a way where, like, you know, they rub off on me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Eric is rubbing off on me in terms of, like, handling business and thinking wild things.
I want to say, my man,
you know what I mean?
I want to say one thing and not even blow my man's spot up. I appreciated how passionate Boss was on Saturday. My man was really had like a battery in his back. Not to even put, my man was like, where's my man at?
Yeah.
My man's stuck. Ugh. And I was appreciated that, because it's people like that as artists hold us accountable and make sure that we do what we're supposed to be doing. He's like, I know this, you know, the reason that you're here is because he knows how talented you are, or vice versa. And I know how he knows how important this is. So I appreciate, like, that battery. It's one thing that I love about Philly is that, you know, there's no shortage of folks who will be like, you know, for real, bull, that's what we doing? Like, when my man was saying, yeah, what, you know, yeah, with the yeah, I appreciate that. Like, for real, I miss that, because sometimes down here, folks, you know, folks are a little laid back, but any good, you know, I'm not going to say, like, too much pressure. You know, there's always too much and excess. But, yeah, being in the room, having those people by you, is important. I want to say that my crew, Bag Season Records, the reason that we came together is just that we wanted to push each other. You know, we saw something in each other that was special, and that we felt that we could help not only ourselves, but we could help the city. So we got with the lawyer down the street, LLC'd it, got it official on paper, made sure that we had the bank account so we could move around the way we wanted to.
Now it's moving.
And we're moving.
Yeah.
And you know, we started literally 6 months ago, like this week, right?
Yeah.
5 months ago this week. And we're out here doing stuff so that we can, you know, make it make sense for everybody around us. Because there's a lot of kids from this city who feel like they have to go to L.A. And that's the only, like, if they don't go to L.A., then they're not going to eat.
Yeah.
And that's not true. That's not true. But I'm going to... I want y'all to go and check this place out. We're going to go to the Jazz Market in a second.
Yeah, we are.
And
Can you talk about, because you mentioned that we saw you at the Jazz and Heritage Center earlier. Talk about your work there.
Okay.
You know, so it's similar to what Delicious Beats was doing, I'm sure. But talk about it from your vantage point.
Okay. So 40 mid? 40 mid? Did he get, sorry. Oh, I hope he doesn't get mad at me. Oh, no. I told my man to come. He's an alumni. Yeah, I hope he was there, because I've been trying to connect to the internet for like the last hour and a half. And yeah, okay. So at Jazz and Heritage Museum, I had y'all come through to check out this program called Upbeat Academy. And Upbeat Academy is a 501c nonprofit. where that was founded by Matt Zabra and some other gentlemen. And they brought me on recently, but basically the mission statement is having kids in the high school, middle school, high school range, have access to electronic production techniques. And they say, they have the on paper, it's for at risk, X, Y, and Z, but honestly, it's just for kids in the community. Yeah, it's for the grant, right? And it's for kids in the
Shouts out
community.
to the grant language that you have
grant
to use.
language was yeah, Matt, that's not his forte. Matt's an English teacher. That's not his forte. He's just recently, just this year, started to get folks who this is what they do. And
yeah, the guy was telling us stories about his involvement with the community. Also,
Matt,
incarcerated youth.
Yeah, we're working right now. Let's only say shout out to Beyond the Bars back home.
Yeah,
we do a very similar thing. I wanted to actually connect Matt back home with
the
them
homie
too.
Matt Kerr. Yeah,
another Matt. Shout out Matt Kerr. We work with youth all over. We work with kids in alternative schools. We work with kids who are behind bars, incarcerated. Some kids who are sitting for 20. And we definitely, I feel so blessed because I'm gonna tell you a little story. Last year, this time, I got laid off. I'm an accountant by trade. You speak Chinese, all this stuff. I'm an accountant by trade, and I was laid off in April, and this past April, so a year from then, I got hired at Upbeat, and it was just serendipitous, almost to the day I got hired. And it was just kind of one of those moments where I had it, the 25th of April. It was so soon. And,
yo,
what's up? Was my man downstairs?
Was it my homie? Word. This is the Parlor, live from the Parlor.
Yo, what's good?
Folks is walking in. Yeah.
No, you're good.
Hey.
You're good.
Make yourself comfortable.
What's good? So it was not 40 mid? That was not 40 mid calling
What's
you?
up?
No, that wasn't.
We got people
okay.
coming in. Hug me.
Nah,
Like
you're
you mean
good.
it.
Go hug. Go do your thing.
Yeah, we're going to catch up in a second.
Yeah.
We are legitimately live streaming.
You're good. Shout out to you.
What's going on? Yeah, we spoke about that earlier.
That's there's a lot of things. I want to really say that the work that Matt has allowed my contemporaries and I to do, where we can take our music and really change lives, has touched me. I'm an instructor as well. I taught Chinese for a long time, and getting to use my music and these other skills to really just help kids verbalize what they're feeling inside is really special. And
I work with youth a little bit. I'm starting to move into that space a little bit more. But what I've learned, and I was telling Blue this too, a lot of times when you're working with the youth, it's not so much about teaching whatever skill you're teaching, with math, science, history. It's about character development.
Exactly.
Teaching them to, and validating them, letting them see themselves and you have a space, you deserve it. Here's how to be patient.
Exactly.
Here's how to work hard. Here's how to focus. Here's how to balance things out, time management, so on and so forth. And, you kind of forget oh yeah, I'm teaching some after school hip hop class. And it's you're really giving them all these tools to just kind of really build and be a better person.
Exactly. I want to say I was impressed because, sometimes we don't have we don't always have the best as at recurring attendance. But this week has been amazing.
It's a strong number of
the
kids in there,
and it keeps growing every single day.
And the homie, was it 40 mid? He was
he's an alumni. There's a couple of alumni in there. Millie, Israel, and Chad are all alumni. Chad started at Upbeat Academy in his junior year of high school and graduated in high school in 2015, went to college and came back and is a teacher here now and just graduated last week.
And that's the kind of stuff when you pay it for it. I was also talking about mentorship. It's a complete void there.
I'm really proud of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but there's there's a lot of folks that you guys will run, and I'm hoping you guys will run into, who have come through that program, who are I think incredibly successful in this city, are maneuvering and moving in a way with skills that they've learned and acquired along the way from the program. And we're in the process of our crafting our own curriculum so that we can go around to different places and pass this out and say, hey, this is exactly what we're doing. So you can take this, and I want you to take this and educate. So I'm hoping that I know that over these next couple of years that we're going to have some alumni who are going to feel charged to come back, to give back to our current students that are going to come, students who are going to go. And then hopefully over the next couple of years, we can give our students opportunities to go to places like Philadelphia.
Yeah, I'm trying to get some beats,
perform.
for real. I mean, that's like, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm trying to get these beats.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I think that's on our docket. We want to have our students produce, but also understand what goes into that, what goes into live performance, what goes into collaborating with artists. Do you have your BMI set up? Do you have your ASCAP set up? What's your publishing looking like? I want everybody to understand. What's the mailbox money? Alfred Banks was talking about.
Absolutely.
Netflix show. How do I get to that point?
Licensing and sync.
And we're definitely going to have Alfred come through, talk to our students about that. We had Nesby Flips, some of the other guys from Jet Life Currency who are intertwined and connected in our community, who the students look up to and actually listen to it as well. So I'm just really glad to see that.
I was gonna say, what about your beats, right? So you had a whole set, and I don't know if you're gonna get to some more too as we like kind of bring this all to a close.
I'm gonna let y'all go. We're gonna be tomorrow. If you want to hear some more, we're gonna be at the Art Garage from 9 until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, depending on what the DJ set. How DJ set goes.
All right, word.
It's going to be donation based. Donations are important because they're going to the touring acts. These folks came down here, brought a lot of equipment with them. I'm sure the bags is heavy. So please come through, pay for that. But if you want to see some more, I'll be there tomorrow playing a little bit of, a little blend of everything.
Well, you know what? We're going to leave it at that then, honestly. I want to say thank you for this conversation, man, and facilitating this whole
thing. This is a long
thing.
time coming.
Absolutely.
Shout out to you, Beats, for taking me here.
Yo, delicious beats for sure. Shouts out to Alfred Banks. This is The Parlor live from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around all
Shout out
that.
to one thing. Shout out to my wife, baby. I love you. I'm coming home soon.
Word.
No, you watching
Yo, Eric
right
Boss,
now.
get on camera and say something, man.
Oh, yeah. Get my man over here. Oh, yeah.
What up?
Yeah, we're putting this on here. You going to
give
give me the
You
ooh.
know what I'm saying? Nah, yeah. Yo, I appreciate this shit, man. For real.
Man, you already know what it was.
I mean, you kind of touched on everything I would touch on, which is kind of cool. You know what I mean? So I ain't got to really say much, but I really appreciate it. At the Academy today, that was something, yo, right? Like, that was really some shit.
Oh, you got to
It's
tell
cool
the
to see
story.
that.
You got to tell the. Nah, that's a Patreon.
Patreon. No, we
episode.
gonna shoot a whole video to tell that story. We're gonna have someone animate it and the whole nine. You know, I'm going all out for that one. Stay tuned.
Ooh.
No,
Yeah,
but on
that
some
would
real
be
shit,
great.
the Academy, like, yo, it's kind of. I already feel a little motivated. Like, yo, we should be doing this at home. Like, you know, we got Cherry Street. We got the city at our access to, like, do this kind of shit.
I really want to see y'all
It's, like,
doing
really-
that. I'm
you
going
know
to
what
put
I mean?
that to charge that I really want to see y'all doing that. In
Word.
the city, there's kids that are the same way who are looking for something. Yeah, you have. And they're doing stuff like that too? Okay, good. I mean, let us know. I mean, these are things that I want to see, our artists more involved in. That community service is imperative. Like,
For sure.
Like, that's a whole other thing of, like, you know what I mean? Us kind of getting together, banding together, and creating that,
Yeah, I'll take this out.
yeah, you're going to let us
All right.
PR do.
Yeah, we have an off-camera conversation right now, so you know what I'm saying. But yo, we gotta keep this going. We gotta keep, you know what I mean, building this
they're
bond
gonna
between the cities.
catch
and
them
shit that's
if
already
you're
there.
in the city watching the stream. Catch them. They're going to be at Jazz Market. I want to see them. Hopefully, Bay is going to hop up
Yeah,
there.
we're going. I mean, Blue and
Blue gonna
and
hop
Bay.
up there. I
Blue
want to
and
see
Bay.
that.
Yeah, we gonna rock it out. Yo,
Shout out to DC Paul. Shout out to the
We
West.
still got some time to spend here, but yo, thank you to the city of New Orleans. Thank you, Delicious Beats, the homie Matt over at the Academy and shit. That's y'all are doing God's work. You know what I'm saying? So, oh yeah, shout out. Actually, I didn't get one yet, so I'm about to go get fried
Oh
toast
no,
po'
we're
boy
gonna have to
right
make that
now.
recommendation. Y'all didn't
Right
get the.
now.
We're gonna have to find that vegan po' boy. I know they got the vegan po' boy here.
I'm getting the fried oyster, so we
No,
good.
they got
Yo,
the
actually,
vegan
you should
po' boy
take us
here.
out, man. Take us out, man.
Yeah. All right. Once again, Wino Willie, Delicious Beats. My name is The Bull Bay. This is The Parlor. Follow us on IG, live from The Parlor. Follow me, The Bull Bay. I think that's it. Are you going to play some more music? How we going to wrap this all up? It's a deuce? It's a deuce? All right, it's a deuce, man. I really appreciate y'all watching. Hit us up. Like I said, follow us all on the social stuff. Peace, y'all.